went into Second Life? You gotta be kidding me. Yeah, I stopped working at a very prestigious company and did not get better at my job. So I decided to work at Second Life. You're not a developer, you're a stress tester. Like, how do you call yourself a developer? Man, they just kept moving his around. He must have been his original job. He was basically like a low-level, low-rung IT guy. Yeah, exactly, Noid. There's nothing deeper than that. Good job, Pirate Software. You did better than Grums, dude. Just doing the bare minimum, brother. I'm so sorry. COVID for 9 months. How are you alive?
It's just me. I've been working on it for about 7 years, but I lost 2.5 years to COVID.
Okay, I hope it-
Whoa! Where the f did 2.5 years come from? 2.5 years? Weren't we saying only he lost 9 months?
You're showing a man and you ended with a fucking dog hitting a fucking drum! Oh, I'm fucking mad.
Cops is filmed on location with the men and women of law enforcement. All suspects are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
Now, this video in particular is a video that I've been seeing in my watch history for a while. I have not watched it yet. From what Ahsoka's telling me and from the description, this is part 1 of a larger series I'm doing on Pirate Software, where I'll be judging his job history, industry claims, development hell, DRM solutions, game codes. In this part 1, I'm going through his job history plus industry claims and the development hell that is currently affecting his game Heartbound. Part 2 is me reviewing his DRM solutions and code. Oh, thank God. I know nothing about code. So I am curious where this guy is going to go with this.
Related to Stop Killing Games. This video isn't about the Stop Killing Games drama. I do support the Stop Killing Games initiative, and anyone in the EU currently watching this should go and sign up to care about game preservation. This video is going to be a review of Jason's job history, game dev industry claims, coding ability, and his Heartbound and Champion of Breakfast DRM solutions by me, a developer. I won't be touching on his hacking skills much in this video, since from what I found, all of his DEF CON wins were team efforts, and all of the stories related to hacking are just that, stories. Outside of his word, I generally can't find anything related to it. There isn't anything concrete or of substance in these stories for me to actually analyze and review. If anyone knows where he actually has hacking write-ups, or knows the VODs where he actually does something related to hacking, let me know and I can do a separate video.
So I heard from, I think it was Falgi. I think Falgi told me that this hacker patch that this guy kept saying that he got for being like a part of a specific group wasn't valid, or that he was just a part of the group but never did anything. Is this where that comes from in this video?
Going through and reviewing it. Okay, with that out of the way, let's start with Jason's LinkedIn job history. So if we look at his LinkedIn, we can see his first recorded job experience is from 2002 to 2009, where he was a freelance security researcher and developer. In 2002, Jason would have been 15, and from what I found, he hasn't
his DEF CON badges are for scavenger hunt. Okay, a scavenger hunt.
taking any program classes, so anything he knows at this point is largely self-taught. Another important thing is Jason actually had a job in 2004 that isn't listed here as a quality assurance intern at Blizzard.
I went to Blizzard in 2004, and like, this is kind of my whole career, right? My first job I got through nepotism, 100%. My dad worked at Blizzard for 23 years. We worked at Blizzard for 23 years, so I got a job there in 2004. I was shit. I was shit at this, and I realized I was shit.
Also, I think it's important that
Imagine telling, it's like, hey, my dad got me a job at Blizzard and I was so shit as a Q tester. I was garbage at it. You know, my dad got me this sweet gig at one of the most famous video game development teams in the world, and I sucked.
And then we talk about his dad for a second. Jason says his dad just worked at Blizzard, but that's grossly understating his dad's role and history at Blizzard. Jason's dad is Joey.
That's Jason's dad? Wait a minute. This is Pirate Software's dad? Why does he look like, who's the guy? There's a fucking video game developer with really long hair. Holy shit. I'm trying to remember his fucking name. He was a part of id Software. He was like a crazy developer that spent like millions of fucking dollars on shit. Oh my God. Help me out here. Someone help me. Not just Weird Al. Like, there's a guy that used to work at id and it broke up. John Romero. Thank you. He does, in my opinion, he looks like John Romero more than Weird Al. I think it's just the hair that it's Weird Al. John Romero. I can see more John Romero in this.
Ray Hall, and from a Reddit.
Hold on, let's look up John Romero real quick, because I need to see this. Okay, John Romero. I may take this back. I may have to take that. You know what? I think I'm going to have to take that comparison back. John Romero's hair is just, like, crazy, though. I got to change that.
AMA, his dad held, we can see the following. Joey Ray joined Silicon and Synapses in 1991. Now, you might be asking, what's Silicon and Synapses, and what does this have to do with Blizzard in his post? Well, in 1991, Blizzard didn't exist yet. Silicon and Synapses was the original company name, and 1991 was the year it was founded. Joey Ray joined Blizzard before it was Blizzard, and when he joined, there were less than 10 people in total at the company. He wasn't some random Blizzard employee. He was one of the earliest hires at the company. Over his 23 years, he did all sorts of work, and was the one that founded the cinematic team, led the machinima team, the video and post-production team, and the esports live broadcast team.
That's not just a, hey, my dad has a job. That's like, my dad is a well-known individual within this company. That's not a, my dad just did a job at Blizzard. That's a very impressive resume. That's a very impressive resume for starting off initially with the original Blizzard team up to Blizzard becoming what it is. That is, that's crazy. And then being a part of the esports live broadcast team, Blizzard was one of the originals that started that, right? That's interesting.
Plus, being responsible for
Plus, wasn't Blizzard one of the original ones that started cinematic trailers and shit like that? Or like they were one of the most well-renowned when it came to cinematic trailers?
all the video content for every BlizzCon between 2005 to 2014.
He also did all the BlizzCon videos? Has Pirate Software ever listed his dad's accomplishments before? Because it doesn't sound like he has.
Plus, he led the team
I feel like I would have heard about that.
that made the famous South Park World of Warcraft episode and the
I'm sorry, what?
one between 2005 to 2014. Plus, he led the team that made the famous South Park World of
This dude was not a nobody. This dude was not just a random employee. Holy shit.
Warcraft episode and the inspiration
Nepo,
for the He Who Has No
bro,
Life.
Nepo baby, Nepo baby, Nepo baby, Nepo baby, Nepo baby, Nepo baby. Nepo baby's true.
14. Plus, he led the team that made the famous South Park World of Warcraft episode and the inspiration for the He Who Has No Life character, Joey Ray.
He was the what? Over the 20 years, I did a lot. In the yearly years, we did a little bit of everything. That's how small teams work best. In the later years, I helped found the cinematic team. I created, built, and creatively led the machinima team, the video and post-production team, and the esports live broadcast team. I was also responsible for all video content for every BlizzCon from 2005 to 2014. I also led the team that did the Make Love Not Warcraft episode of South Park and was the model of He Who Has No Life. Bro, this is not like a fucking small person. This is great. I did not realize that his dad was this in-depth. Like, I knew his dad had like a lofty position at Blizzard. I didn't think that his dad was a part of literally building up everything that was important about Blizzard content.
It was the director of cinematics at Blizzard. He wasn't some low-level employee that worked at the company. He was pretty high up in the chain. Anyways, back to Jason.
The next 5 years, I left Blizzard. I did not reapply, and I went and worked on my own. I did freelance. I did freelance for everything. So I actually went into Second Life, which is a 3D Worlds game if you've never played it before. They have a
He went into Second Life? You gotta be kidding me. Yeah, I stopped working at a very prestigious company and did not get better at my job. So I decided to work at Second Life.
language in it called Linden Scripting Language, and I made games in there. I learned how to do 3D modeling. I learned how to do texture work. I learned how to do scripting. I learned how to engage with people that were playing my games. I learned how to do network model stuff. I learned how to do server-related stuff. I did this for 5 whole years.
So Jason's Second Life period of time is a huge rabbit hole, and there's like 5 or 6 different controversies surrounding his time in Second Life. This video
Wait till you what he did at Second Life, okay? You know what? I'm on a ride. You guys know way more than I do, okay? So this is a ride for me right now.
isn't about his controversies and allegations, so I'm going to skip over most
I'm so sorry. Controversies and allegations?
of it. The only small parts we care about are related to coding. During his Second Life playing time, he played a character known as Moldavia's Fig Tree and started
Oh! Is this where this comes from? The Second Life stuff is where the furry Moldavia's Fig Tree came in.
company called Dark Sphere Creations. He claims he did game programming with the Linden scripting language, the programming language of Second Life, and made some small games and some user-generated content.
Bro, hold on. I'm sorry. Can we do something real quick? I need to
During
look
his Second
at
Life
this
playing
photo.
time, he played
His persona is so weird. Why does he look like a Jack the Ripper rapist Fox version? Like,
a character known as Moldavia's Fig Tree and started a company called Dark Sphere Creations. He claims he did game programming with the Linden scripting language, the programming language of Second Life, and made some small games and some user-generated content for Second Life. While digging into this, I didn't find any proof he coded.
there are please, no more ferret. No more ferrets. I'm tired of people abusing their ferrets, man.
Any games. What Dark Sphere Creations and his company was actually doing at the time was creating not safe for work adult furry avatars and selling.
So his independent coding experience is based upon him making gay furry art. Gay furry coding.
Them. Basically, his friend Wingless Emote, another Second Life player, would do the art and modeling for the furry avatars, and Jason would do some coding on top. What kind of coding he did on top of these avatars isn't exactly clear. Then they would sell the avatars, and eventually the business was making somewhere around $10,000 a month, primarily due to
That's pretty good. That's a crazy market. I'm gonna be honest. $10,000 a month is pretty crazy.
selling these avatars. There's some other controversy where it alludes to Jason trying to do dev work on Linden Labs projects and other game worlds, but I can't find any solid proof, just random posts and accusations. So in summary, there doesn't seem to be any proof he did any kind of game development or hacking during this period of time. Let's get back to Jason.
Then I came back to Blizzard.
The avatar maker was also 17. So I don't know that for a fact, and it's not in this video. So my hands are up on that one. If that's true, oh my fucking God.
2009, and I applied, not having his help in any way. I got the job.
Okay, the timeline here starts.
I'm so sorry. What did he say?
Then I came back to Blizzard in 2009, and I applied, not having his help in any way. I got the
You went to reapply at Blizzard in 2009, not without daddy's help. I'm so sorry. Your dad is also already in there. They know your last name. They know your name. Even if your dad didn't say, hey, you see that application right there? My son's trying to reapply. They already know who you are. Like, it doesn't change anything.
the job.
Okay, the timeline here starts matching up with his LinkedIn. After his little detour with Darkspear Creations and working for himself, Jason now has an actual full-time job at Blizzard in 2009. This is his first official full-time job at Blizzard, and he is once again a quality assurance analyst. Jason claims he got into the company on his own merits this time, but I find that a bit hard to believe at face value. In 2004, he said he was terrible at his QA role, and that's why he quit. I searched to see if he studied anything IT related in high school or in college or during the time gap, and I found this from his subreddits. Jason did spend some time in college studying to be an entomologist with a specialization in ants. He dropped out of
You went to college to have a specialization in ants. Ants. Who the fuck is studying ants? Like, I'm so sorry. What? He's doing ant science? Like, ant science. What a... Oh, God. I mean, he did study bugs. It's just funny. A specialization in ants, dude.
How IT trained do you need to be to do work in quality assurance?
Probably like barely anything. I don't know. I don't know anything about tech. My one friend, I haven't seen him in forever. He's a goddamn genius. He's really fucking good at computer programming. Like, he can go to any job and they'll pay him like a stupid salary. So like, I meant to call him about the pirate software stuff just to be like, hey buddy, can you look at this guy's coding and tell me if it's good? And I think I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna call him this week now. I'm gonna catch up with him, see how he's doing, and then ask him about it. I'm curious.
at college without ever finishing his studies, and it doesn't seem like he ever took any IT-related courses during this time here. During that 5-year gap between 2004 and 2009, the only experience he said in the clip from earlier was his Second Life programming, and well, that wasn't exactly quality assurance, or hacking, or game.
Check DMs. All right, what? Video going over his shit? Pirate software. Okay, I'll maybe look at that too.
Development work. Plus, while applying in 2009, on his resume, he would probably have had, or Blizzard itself would have had a record he worked there previously as a QA. So that would make applying a second time for a similar position easier. His dad, once again, was a pretty high person in the company, and some people might remember Jason being Joey Ray's son from before. It's not impossible.
No, they would definitely remember that. Like, they would remember that, especially if the last name's the same. They're gonna be like, oh, wait a minute, I know who this guy is. Like, what?
He got in on his own merits. Just a bit hard to believe considering he doesn't have experience with any real program languages at this point, and he doesn't have any degrees or certificates. Okay, back to his LinkedIn and his job. So he held the role for 3 years and 2 months, and once again, this was his quality assurance role. One thing Jason often does is he claims all QA are developers. First, as someone that has worked QA myself, this isn't true. I'm not saying QA aren't important, but the majority of QA generally are non-technical, and only a small portion are. At most of the places I worked at, QA generally has no coding ability and are tasked with doing manual regression testing. Basically, they get...
So what is their whole job? Area should be accommodate 20 characters. Functionality, input to 20 characters. All 20 characters and requests should be appropriate, pass or fail. So it's basically, oh, okay. So it's basically just doing basic work. It's nothing involving like actual coding. It's like, hey, when you load it to the game, are there 20 characters in the room and it's causing no screen tearing or issues? It's basically checking for bugs. Like, you don't need to code to check for bugs if the code is already where it needs to be.
Like Ludwig said, let's up these numbers.
True.
get a series of test cases they need to go through, and each test case has a written out set of instructions they just follow. If something doesn't match the case steps, then a bug is filed and actual developers are tasked with addressing it. So I personally wouldn't call his 3 years at this position game development experience.
I would not call it game development. I would say that he was just a QA tester. Like, some QA positions have automation, but loads of testers just click around. Okay, so they're not even like people that are actually writing out levels of code. It's just a group of people. So let me get this straight. To all the coders that are in my chat, let me get this straight. A QA tester essentially tests the product to see if the product crashes, if they basically stress test it. And if the stress test fails something, that is listed as a fail, and then basically that fail gets shot over to the actual developers to fix it. That's what that works. That's what it is. How the fuck is that considered development or a developer? You're not a developer, you're a stress tester. Like, how do you call yourself a developer?
And if we look at the bullet points he has on his LinkedIn, besides one line, namely the design and create an automated system, there's nothing here that even remotely implies he was coding or doing any kind of development. I'm making this point since Jason often claims he was a game developer at Blizzard for 7 years, but his first 3.5 years didn't include any developer roles. Also, to address his if QA didn't do their jobs, games wouldn't be released argument, most games have music. If a musician doesn't complete the OST, a game can't be released. Does that mean they're now developers too? Just because you say something confidently in a deep voice doesn't make it true. Moving on to his next role, we have quality assurance hacks. Here he mentions he did some forensic analysis and detected threats. Also, something I'd like to note, all of his game projects listed here were coded using primarily the C++ programming language. This is a low-level programming language. This will be important a bit later in the video.
Dude, I remember trying to learn how to code back in college. Oh god, I sucked. I could not understand that shit to save my life. I'm like retarded when it comes to numbers.
As for the role, again, I wouldn't call this game development experience. This is more related to...
I wish I learned it. Shit, I might get bored one day and start learning how to do it for fun, but like, Christ.
Security work than game development itself. And from the bullet points, it doesn't seem like Jason was doing much coding. His next role for 6 months was test engineer. My opinions are pretty much the same as the previous role he held. Moving on, we have the next role as security engineer for 11 months. This one is interesting. Since the bullet points here notes he managed web application security. For those that don't know what web applications are, it means he was working on websites and not games. There's no mention of programming here or what tools and language.
Yeah, Ivy, for fun. It's another skill in my utility belt, bro. How could you hate that?
Is he used? But regardless, this is without a doubt a non-game development role and doesn't have any overlap with game development. Okay, next up.
No, it's just literally he's just doing security in general. It doesn't have anything to do with the actual game in of itself. So I don't know why he's listing that as a development cycle.
He moves to another security engineer role for 3 months. Again, same opinion.
Man, they just kept moving his ass around. He must have been shit at his original job.
Is his last job. Now, his last role at Blizzard was a red team member. Red team is a common IT term that just means someone inside the company that attempts to hack into their systems, either digital or physical. So Red Hats basically try to make hacks and show how they got access. So these vulnerabilities and issues can be addressed before real hackers can abuse them. Now, while Red Hat is offensive security and hacking, it doesn't always mean you're programming like you see with those green terminals and pics. If we look at the bullet points Jason has listed, we can see he did exploiting physical access controls and social engineering operations. Social engineering is actually one of the most common ways hackers gain access to systems, and it doesn't have to involve any programming at all. Social engineering attacks are something like the following situation. Let's say Jason in this example is a social engineer and his target is a fellow Blizzard employee with access to the game servers. He could call them or email them from a legitimate Blizzard phone number or email and say he needs their account credentials. Normally, you would never share live in production account credentials, even if someone from your own company. But let's say Jason manages to convince the employee to hand the credentials over. Now Jason has a way to log into the system he shouldn't have access to. This is a social engineering attack. It's not technical hacking like most people think of. It's generally just being
Well, yeah, like that's just stupid obvious. What are you talking about? It's like, yeah. I wouldn't be shocked because a lot of the times if you work like any sort of major multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar company, they always have people that are like trying to send you stuff to like test if you're retarded enough to like click on links. Basically, he was a fisher. He was basically fishing for people to get them to provide their information or click on links or something. I wouldn't consider that to be like good hacking. That's just like what fucking Mahmood does in like a call center.
Convincing enough and getting employees to hand over info or access they shouldn't be giving out. All right, with all of that, and with all those jobs, we have 6 years and 6 months at Blizzard full-time for
Can I talk about? No, not now.
Jason. And if we include his time as a QA intern in 2004, we basically have his 7 years of experience at Blizzard accounted for. Judging by everything as written here, it seems as though he's never held an actual game developer position and he's never done any game development directly. All of his roles at Blizzard were either QA, website security, or social engineering, basically his hacking. It doesn't seem like he's ever touched C++, which is the industry standard language to use when doing game development. But before I finish my thoughts on this, let's check out one more job after Blizzard. After Blizzard, Jason worked at Amazon Games for 8 months as an automation engineer. Again,
ew, Amazon Games, gross. I fucking hate Amazon Games. I fucking bought into that one MMO that they did, the first ever game they dropped, and I was playing it with my roommate for like a while, and I hated that fucking game. That game sucked.
And he wasn't a game developer here. He also didn't include much information under his bullet points. He did documentation of vulnerabilities and did some automation work with Python. This is the first officially recorded line that actually shows he did some programming. Python is what we call a high-level language, meaning the language is designed to be easy for humans to read and understand, as well as
I think it was New World. I fucking hated New World. So Python, high-level programming language designed for human readability and ease of use, with a greater abstraction for the computer's underlying hardware. Okay, so it's basically, it's a high-level program, but it allows people to understand it in like retard language. Got it.
Right. Python is a wonderful language, and I'm not throwing any shade at it, but Python is not a language used to create games. Technically, yes, you can code games in Python. Big drawback is it's an incredibly slow language. This is why the industry standard language for game development is C++, a low-level language that allows for incredible performance. The trade-off is it's a significantly more difficult language to work with. The reason I went through his job history so far and his programming language list is because Jason often claims he's a 20-year veteran of the game dev industry, and he was a game developer at Blizzard for 7 years. And he uses these claims to make himself seem like an authority and expert on game development and game-related topics, namely stop killing games. But from the looks of it, and in my opinion, it doesn't seem to to me he's ever worked as an actual game developer.
It doesn't. That entire list of all of his credentials do not list anything that even me, as like a low IQ retard on coding, none of that was worked directly on game development in regard to StarCraft 2. It was like, oh, I was a QA tester. Oh, I sent phishing emails to people. Like, this guy's making a very fucking sound argument here. Like, if you were a legitimate coder on StarCraft 2, World of Warcraft, anything like that, that would be the first thing that you would put in your resume. He was basically like a low-level, low-rung IT guy. Yeah, exactly, Noid. There's nothing deeper than that.
Developer within the industry, and it doesn't seem like he's ever done much program work in the industry either. I'm not throwing shade at any of the jobs listed here so far. I'm just trying to be...
I'm gonna be honest, I'm not throwing shade either, but like Pirate Software just tried to list all these as like some kind of proof that he's a developer.
Absolutely clear that none of this, in my opinion, as someone that has worked on game engines and done game development, none of this counts as game development experience, with a lot of his roles having absolutely nothing to do with game development itself at all. To help make this clear, here's another example to help everyone understand. It's like someone working at a hospital and doing payroll work, but because they're at a hospital, they claim to be a qualified doctor. It doesn't make any sense. Jason is making a giant leap with his I'm a game developer for 7 years at Blizzard claims. Anyways, let's go back to his LinkedIn and see what's next. Here we have that he was a cybersecurity specialist at Eagle Research Group. Based on Jason's stories, this should be when and where he was technically working for the government. There isn't a whole lot of information here, and with most of the bullet points being extremely generic, since he claims this was government-related.
Penetration testing, working with sensitive networks, development of custom tools. This is the worst information to like understand what the fuck you were doing here. Cybersecurity specialist, penetration testing. So you were sending phishing emails. Working with sensitive networks, you basically help people set up like secure VPNs or secure like hotspots or secure, I guess, connections to equipment so that they were completely cut off from any sort of outside attacks. Development of custom tools. What the fuck does that even mean?
Your work, I think it's perfectly reasonable to assume he has NDAs, or he might not be able to give any specifics related to his work here.
And then when I did that, I went to the United States Department of Energy and I hacked power plants for the federal government.
Jason makes a
bro, come on. I hacked the federal government. You sent phishing emails. It's obvious that you sent phishing emails. Like,
a lot of claims being a hacker and has told a lot of stories, but I could never find anything to back up his hacking claims. So far, the only thing I found was he did do some social engineering attacks at Blizzard. Now, some of you might know about his DEF CON stories and his Mr. Robot claims. I'll probably cover those in a separate video. The reason is all of his DEF CON wins were done in teams of 10 people, never solo. And for his other hacking claims, there's only stories to go off of. To keep this video from being too long and off topic, I'll save his hacking claims for its own thing. Okay, his next set of experience is at his own company, also named Pirate Software. But before we touch on that, let's talk about his more recent job experience at Off-Brand Games first, since that's a smaller topic to cover. Off-Brand Games is a game publishing company founded by Ludwig and Jason. I'm not entirely sure.
Ludwig. Ludwig. Gross. Ludwig. Out of everybody in the world, you go on fucking... You become friends with Ludwig. Gross.
Sure, if Jason is a co-founder or
not. I can't stand Ludwig as like an existing person. It's like it fundamentally makes me upset. Few shorts of him saying that he hacked like 99% social engineering and only examples are only ever phishing and spear phishing. Nice.
Jason claims he isn't, but most posts and Ludwig's posts talking about the company seem to imply he is. Whether or not he's a co-founder isn't too important. Jason's role at the company is director of strategy. From Jason's comments on the matter, he basically helps indie game developers negotiate contracts. Again, no direct game development work here. Also, fun fact, the very first game Off-Brand Games was co-publishing was Rivals of Ether 2, a game by the developers.
I just hate Ludwig. He's also like an industry plant. I hate Ludwig. He is literally the quintessential industry plant for content creators. He scares me. Like I think he's an android. I don't think he's like a real human being. I also need some air in here.
His own words was built this time around as a more live service game. Really makes you think why he might not want Stop Killing Games to succeed. Also, don't throw any hate at Rivals of Ether 2. They actually do have an end-of-life plan to keep the game playable and alive for the community after it ends. The same goes for the rest of the off-brand.
Oh, that's good. At least they did that. I didn't know if that was a thing.
Published games. Don't throw them any hate. Okay, we're going to take just one more detour before we get to the Pirate Software Company. Let's check out Jason's GitHub and see if there's any code for us to review there. For those of you that don't know what GitHub is, it's basically the site where developers store their code bases and development teams can work together on a code base. In Jason's case, his code bases would be tied to his games. Okay, so here's Jason's GitHub account, and he has 0 public projects on his account and 0 activity for the year of 2025. Okay,
what?
No public repos doesn't exactly prove anything, and you don't need to have public repos, but most active developers do have something at least. Also, let me point out, GitHub does have an option of having private repos, which are code bases not viewable by users, not part of the team. But GitHub also has the option to show activity on private repos on your profile without leaking any private repo data. Again, this doesn't prove anything, but it's incredibly odd to see a self-proclaimed developer and hacker have 0 public code on his GitHub and 0...
Is it really that crazy? Like maybe he just didn't want people to know that. So like my whole thing is like I don't want to be fair to Pirate Software, but I'm gonna have to in this moment. Cause like, is it not crazy that a public figure does want to keep like that kind of work a little bit more private than anything else? I don't think it's that crazy. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's because I'm not like a development fucking guy or a guy that understands coding or coding culture or like tech culture. I don't know. That's a weird one to me. But he is making a good argument that's like you can turn around and say it is weird that he's not showing any sort of his public work. Like,
on his account. Let's try.
How will people know you can code if you don't have a profile? That's fair, funny. That is fair. Maybe I just don't know enough about it. He did say that there's an option to keep it private between just team members, but I guess that's it. Yeah, there's a way to have private repos, so that's why I'm kind of sitting here going, it's 50-50 shot on that one.
2024, and there's nothing. Okay, 2023. Oh, I see some activity, and it's bug reports. He has made 4 bug reports and some feature requests, 0 coding to review for 2023. Okay, let's try
bug reports. That's it?
2022. All right, I see 2 green dots, and again, it's 2 bug reports, no code to check over. All right, 2021, I'm feeling lucky, and there's nothing. Okay, 2020, he's applying to be a part of the live coders list. All right, last year to check, 2019, and his only activity is he joined January 13, 20.
Okay, yeah, now we're starting to get to a point that's a little weird, that it did show some of the information the years prior, but not showing anything recent and from 2021 to 2019. Oh, I don't know if I don't know if the rest of that's private. Could you private only certain years, or could you like private the whole thing? I don't think you could just private random years. I don't know how this thing works, so maybe I'm just overthinking it.
2019. Man, that was disappointing. Over 7 years of having a GitHub account, he seems to have done 0 public coding, with a grand total of 6 bug reports. Again, this doesn't prove anything too much, but most professional developers and hackers generally have something on their accounts, even if it's just super minor stuff like their settings for their favorite text editor or application. Jason could have a separate personal account where he does all his work, but the entire thing is just incredibly strange and unusual. Just about every tech YouTuber and streamer has a GitHub account with some random project scattered around. Anyways, finally, with all those positions and GitHub stuff out of the way, let's finally get to Pirate Software, the company, and Jason's actual game development start. Let's take a look at his game.
You private separate repositories, which are pretty much projects. Okay, fair. Again, I don't know much about GitHub, so I'm basically just throwing my hands up on that one. Once I was trying to break down how much he's worked on his game in stream over a year. I think a total under 30 minutes. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Dev skills, his game dev.
Bro, imagine calling yourself captain on your LinkedIn page about your business. You can't call yourself a CEO. Yeah, I'm a captain.
Execution.
And it's called Pirate fucking Software. Like, come on, man.
All his bragging, I'm sure this is going to be an incredible story with no issues at all. All right, so his first game his studio published was a game called Champions of Breakfast. This was a game roughly built in 8 months in the Game Maker engine. This was the first game that Jason claimed had the unpiratable DRM, where basically the game's Steam achievements acted as a save file. I'll touch on all these points again in just a bit, keep them in mind, while I move to his next and only other game, Heartbound. So Heartbound is the big game Pirate Software is known for, and it has a crazy...
Yeah, also any code, proprietary code you never put into a public repo. Okay, that's fair. Again, you're talking to a guy that knows next to nothing when it comes to that stuff. I am not going to sit here and pretend like I know what is going on in regard to the repo stuff. So we're good on that.
Development history.
But I am curious about it more in depth.
According to the wiki, Heartbound's first build was October 7th, 2015. Again, this game was also made in Game Maker. It's a 2D game that's mostly story-driven with extreme similarities to Undertale, and is supposed to have 5 acts.
Wow, such a veteran Blizzard dev jumped straight into Game Maker, an engine literally designed so even children can make games with it. Is it really that simple of a fucking coding system? Using Game Maker is like that simplified that people with like barely any experience can make a game? It's like doing Unreal Engine back in the day, right? Like where everyone created those Unreal games that they would just shit onto Steam. It's similar to RPG Maker. Interesting. I don't know why a guy that worked at Blizzard would use this. That's interesting. It's so simple DSP could do it. See, that's all you have to do is organize it into something that I can understand. If DSP could do it, then it's made for retards. Got it.
Acts or chapters in total. A Kickstarter for the game was launched on February 24th, 2017, roughly a year and a half after work originally started on it. The original goal was to have the game finished and released by December 2017, but shortly after the launch, it was claimed the game was to be fully complete and released in early to mid 2018. A few months later, the goal was once again changed and now is targeting early access on Steam in December 2018. The game did land on Steam in December of 2018. In early access, this release contained a chapter 1 that was complete, with a basically near fully done chapter 2. Gee, I hope this doesn't become a trend with delays, failed promises, and shifts in goals. Surely Jason will complete this game in a few more years, right?
Nope, we're not getting that. You know what?
Emoji, knock the Chris, maybe.
Listen, to be fair to Grums, which is a sentence nobody has said in their entire life. To be fair to Pirate Software, at least he put something out and Grums never did. So, like, good job, Pirate Software. You did better than Grums, dude. Just incredible. Doing the bare minimum, brother.
At the very start of January 2019, they released a patch where in the patch notes it said Animus, the name of Chapter 3, was being developed. And this is where everything started truly going to hell. Now, we have a few things we should note here. This is technically the third year of development if we're going off the October 2015 first build date. If we compare this to Undertale, Undertale completed development in 2 years, 7 months, with Toby Fox doing most of the development solo, with some help from Tammy Chang on art. Also, let's just take a quick look at the How Long to Beat site and see how much content Undertale has. Okay, the main story is 7 hours. With side content, it's roughly 11 hours. A completionist run is 20.5 hours. Okay, pretty good and respectable times for an indie game built in 2 years, 7 months. Heartbound, as of 2025, is still in active development. So let's take a look at how much content time they have. All right, the main story is 2.5 hours. With side content,
I couldn't imagine, like, trying to I understand trying to capitalize on the Undertale fucking fandom people, but, like, you didn't even do what, like, Toby did. Toby released, like, a fully flushed out game, like, in 2 years. It was a 2D fucking game that was, like, all pixels and animated, like, pixels and shit. Like, why would you release this in, like, small chapters? It's like, I didn't understand it when Toby did it for Deltarune. I didn't understand that. I think it's ridiculous. If you're going to try and capitalize off of Undertale, why not do the same kind of development cycle? Heartbound has 10 years, 5x the amount of Toby. Yeah, that is crazy. If Toby could do it in 2, why is it taking 10?
It's 3 hours, and a completionist run is 3.5 hours. The Pirate Software team has been working on this game for 10 years, currently more than 3 times as long as the Undertale team, and the Pirate Software team has 1 additional team member. Yeah, just think about that for a moment. Anyways, let's start diving through 2019 and Chapter 3 Animus development. For most of 2019, it seems like there was steady progress on Chapter 3, with various patches over the year, so far saying additional content was added. On October 2019, Jason tweeted that roughly 86% of Chapter 3 has now been completed. Then 2 years later, Jason tweets that Chapter 3 is now 92% done. So, over 2 years, he made 8% progress on 1 chapter. 20 years of game dev industry experience, people, and 7 years working.
Are you kidding me? In 2021, he said that the 3rd chapter is being worked on. I have a smaller patch coming out soon. Tons of routes, avocado, and more Animus. Overall, Animus is 92% finished, and the game is close to 75%. I lost 9 months to COVID, but I'm back working again. Wait, how did you lose 9 months to COVID? Your fault. I'm sorry. I get that COVID makes things like a little bit difficult for game development. Well, it makes things difficult for game development, right? But like, if you are a 20-year veteran in the space, you're a content creator, how did you lose 9 months? And then, yeah, that was 4 years ago that he did this update. Weird.
Yeah, Blizzard.
Yeah, I also basically I semi-worked during COVID when I shouldn't have. But like,
Okay, let's rewind and go back to 2020 and see the Twitch statistics and see what was happening. Okay, the start of 2020 up till March seems like a normal stream schedule. Seems like he caught a cold on March 10th. Then after 9 days, he goes to urgent care and is diagnosed with pneumonia and gets a COVID test. Then we move to March 21st and COVID test results come back and it's negative. No COVID, just pneumonia. Wait, never mind. March 24th, Jason goes back to urgent care. Pneumonia was incorrectly diagnosed and he actually has severe bronchitis. All right, March 30th, he's still sick, but once again confirms negative for COVID. This is really important. All right, a few days later, April 10th, and his cold status is defeated and we're good to go. I know I'm being semi-joking in this section, but I generally don't wish Jason any health issues. All right, so then we move on to April 11th, 2020, and work on Heartbound has restarted. Work is continuing over the next few days.
Yeah, but it was like he lost a few days due to illness. It's not 9 fucking months.
The tweets. Most of April was good, so was most of May 2020. We're still working on Heartbound at this point. Again, nearly all of the May project is on Heartbound. Then we skip all the way over to July 2020, and work on Heartbound is still progressing. Seemed like there's some trouble during September, October, and November, with December being fine, and so is January of 2021 being fine. Then we hit February 2021, and then he tweets out he has had COVID for 9 months since the start of February.
I'm so sorry. He had COVID for 9 months. What? I'm so sorry. COVID for 9 months. 9 months. How are you alive? 9 months. Long COVID. That's actually a thing. It doesn't give me like a specific time frame in which conditions linked to part of long COVID may be over months or may last for years. Okay, so it does say if he had long COVID, it does last months to about a year. But from what I'm gathering, he was streaming during this time frame. So it went from pneumonia to maybe COVID to not COVID to pneumonia. The pneumonia was not diagnosed properly. Then it went to bronchitis. Now it's moved to long COVID. Like, there has been some things that aren't making sense here. What the fuck is lung COVID? Long COVID. Long COVID. He went to the doctor with multiple tests and suddenly had COVID-19 9 months later. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, does he have Boogie's doctor as his?
February of 2020. Wait, what? Jason was only sick in March according to his own tweets at that time period. And there's work from February from earlier. And there's proof he worked during April, May, June, July, and August at the
And was he live streaming during this time? Because if he's like live streaming, right, throughout this time frame where he has medical issues and he has long COVID, wouldn't that stop him from streaming?
very least, judging by his Twitch stats and his Steam announcements and patches for the game. It seems the only major slowdown of streams and work was 3 months of September, October, and November, where he lost 9 months of time and had to stop development.
Yeah, 9 months of time doesn't make any fucking sense. That I would say I would be graceful. I will be fair and say the 3 months makes more sense than 9 months. I will gladly give him that grace, but they're saying 9 months is ridiculous. Based on these charts here, he was live streaming and working throughout this entire time, and then boom, it slowed down during this, and I could give him that grace, but like this, these charts aren't matching here.
Based on his tweets, I have no idea. I mean, it's not like he's going to change his story.
Yeah, and he must have been hospitalized with like pneumonia and bronchitis. There had to be some kind of hospitalization, right?
For this, right? Oh, wait, there's this old tweet from November 2020 where Jason says he was recovering for nearly 8 months and couldn't daily stream or work. Let's look at the Twitch stats graph again. And his tweets. He couldn't work during this period, but everything he posts during this time says he was working on Heartbound, and his Twitch stats confirm it. So does Steam. I mean, Jason wouldn't lie and change his story and opinions randomly, right? Especially not his loyal viewers and Heartbound fans. Let's skim the graphs and see what else we can see. Okay, 2021, minus the months of March, April, May, and June, his streaming is extremely good and consistent, with tons of stream days going past 10 hours and some days hitting 16 hours. 2020, about the same for March, April, May, and June, and September, with the rest of the months being slightly less consistent, but still more consistent than not. Then we get to 2023, and this is incredibly consistent with the stream averages being 6 to 8 hours per day. Let's start diving back into Jason's tweets.
So what I'm gathering is that he just gave up and he's streaming more often and he doesn't want to tell anyone he gave up the project. That's what I'm gathering from the change of colors to these charts. Is 2023 rolled around and he was like, fuck it. I don't want to keep working on this game anymore. I'm just going to live stream 6 to 8 hours a day.
So on June 2023, he catches COVID again. Okay, that seems...
Huh? He caught COVID again in 2023.
Seems to match up with his Twitch stats graph. Here, there's a clear week on. Let's see what Jason says in July.
That was a hell of a thing. That's the second time I've gotten COVID. The first time took 9 months to recover. This one took probably about, I think it was in total about 20 days. So
there's no point in time in 2020, 2021, 2022, or 2023 where he lost 9 months consecutively or stopped development for that period of time. He also...
Yeah, no, this was all still done consistently throughout. I think he's lying, guys.
In the clip claimed he got...
Crazy sentiment here. Crazy sentiment, but within March, like he's doing here, there are some missing panels. And then you have June in 2023 with some missing panels. Crazy. He might be lying.
COVID twice in total. So that doesn't explain why there's 4 sections of gaps on development, since all these gaps are months apart and he only had COVID twice. Let's skip ahead to June 2024 and see what he says about these 4 years of development.
How long have you been working in this game? Was the coding a solo job? Yeah. Nobody else has touched the code base for Heartbound.
About these 4 years of development.
How long have you been working in this game? Was the coding a solo job? Yeah. Nobody else.
The coding was a solo job. Dude, I understand that you had COVID. It was probably like rough to breathe and all that other shit. But like people that were working from home that did get COVID still worked. It was only debilitative to people that were working in like industries that were required to remain open. How the fuck did you not work on this even while sick? Because you have an obligation to the people that put money to your game, both as Kickstarter and early access.
Nobody else has touched the code base for Heartbound ever except for me. It's just me. I've been working on it for about 7 years, but I lost 2.5 years to COVID.
Okay, I hope it...
Whoa! Where the fuck did 2.5 years come from? 2.5 years? Weren't we saying only he lost 9 months? Where did 2.5 years come from?
At this point, you realize his excuses for not working on Heartbound and his tweets are filled with complete BS. Once again, he stopped development in 2020, 3 months between September to October, where he had
it's just a simple rounding error.
First COVID period of inactivity. His second COVID was in June 2023. No matter how you try to arrange this and make sense of it, the numbers don't work out. Especially since we can see his 2023, he basically had a perfect stream schedule. And if we look at 2021 and 2022, there were only 2 gaps where he seems to be affected and they're months apart. Jason basically just decided to quit working on his game sometime during 2020 and has been making random excuses since then on why he hasn't made progress. Chapter 3 Animus, the reason we've been going through this chart started all the way back in January of 2019. If we look at the latest patch in 2025, work on Chapter 3 Animus is still going somehow. We have gone through 6 years of development so far, and Jason hasn't been able to complete 4 14% of Chapter 3. Seriously, what the hell? Remember, Undertale took 2 years, 7 months to finish the full entire game with 3 times as much content as what Heartbound is currently delivering in 2025, with 10 years of development time under its belt. To put this into even more perspective, let's look at Yandere Dev, a developer notorious for having no clue what he's doing programming-wise.
Cameron, come out to play. Oh yeah, by the way, like, if you see Cameron in my replies on Twitter, just bully him. I don't want him in my replies, okay? I want him gone. I do not want him in my replies, okay? I tweeted out about the iDub stuff, and Cameron came running in to, like, talk like he had something to say that was important. And I'm like, Cameron, fuck off. I don't want you to talk to me, you fucking weirdo.
And spends the majority of his day responding to emails and maybe spending a few minutes each day working on his game. He makes more progress and more consistently than Jason does. Seriously.
That's actual insanity. That Yandere Dev somehow has more work done on Yandere Simulator than Jason's done in his 10-year development cycle. That's pathetic. Oh my god, that's where you just consider suicide, that you're losing out to Yandere Dev.
See, I'm not joking. Here's the update list for Yandere Dev starting in 2020. Yandere Dev has made more progress and more consistently in that year alone than Jason has in the last 5. We just might be living in a timeline where Yandere Dev finishes his game before Jason does. And yes, I might have gone slightly crazy trying to...
Okay, chat. I have a question. I'm pulling an XQC. Chat. Who wants to put money that Yandere Dev finishes his game before Pirate Software? I'll put money on it. I'll put $100 on Yandere Dev. I'll put $100. $100.
Writing spaghetti code.
$100 on Yandere Dev. I think Yandere Dev will beat Pirate Software. It's a dark horse. But I feel like he might do it. $50. Okay, we'll go $50. We'll do $50 betting. Okay, $50. You put 75 on Alex. All right, minimum bet is 50. I'm doing 100. Minimum bet's 50. All right, I got to start taking a bookie sheet.
trying to plot 6 years of Animus development with conflicting tweets and time gaps onto Twitch stats graph.
I need to start doing bookie sheets. I need to start doing those. Okay, that guy just like absolutely raped Pirate Software. What the fuck? All right, what is this? Ivy sent this to me.
I went my whole life not knowing who Jason Thor Hall, aka Pirate Software, is.
Is this like just more lore dump? You got to play the clip of him his real voice. Who has a clip of his real voice? Because I don't know if I'm willing to jump on the train that his voice is fake yet. I need to see like legitimate proof of that. I need legitimate proof. I don't know if I could jump on the train with you guys. It's true. Is it? All right. Let's see here. Pirate Software real voice. Okay, here.
Hey, so I just had to make this video as
Okay, shut up. I need to listen to what he sounds like.
a real-life interview with
Oh my god.
Extra Emily on February 18th, switches back.
Now it's up here.
Wait, used to be before his so-called second puberty.
Yeah, that's correct. Software and game development's finally a category in Twitch, and now it's up here at the Streamer Awards. So.
I take back what I said. I take it back. 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 I'm on your side. I'm on your side.
His dad from this crap.
Okay, I'm on your side. Oh, you guys got me. You know what? I can't even be mad. That was like jarring. Let me listen to him here.
Activision promoting Guitar Hero, Call of Duty, and Crash Bandicoot mobile games that don't exist.
Okay, I heard him. Okay.
Or his so-called second puberty.
Yeah, that's correct. Software and game development's finally a category in Twitch, and now it's up here at the Streamer Awards. So.
Ooh, his voice in the beginning. I think he recognized that his voice was too high-pitched, and he did that on purpose.
Went back to the doctor. Doctor's like, hey, sometimes in your early 30s.
So a lot of what I actually do on stream is trying to get other people into the gaming industry, because it's so hard.
Went back to the doctor.
It's gotta be just like a shitty mic, though. It's gotta be. There's no way. This dude is purposely doing this. No way. Yeah, it's sped up. It's sped up. It's sped up. You're right. Okay, let's listen to it raw.
Second puberty.
Yeah, that's correct. Software and game development's finally a category in Twitch, and now it's up here at the Streamer Awards. So.
Went back to the
It's
doctor.
gotta be a shitty mic. It's gotta be a shitty mic.
Exist. What? Okay, hold up. Let's look into this a little bit more. So they doctor's like, hey, sometimes in your early 30s.
So a lot of what I actually do on stream is trying to get other people into the gaming industry, because it's so hard.
Went back to the doctor. Doctor's like, hey,
To enter the gaming industry, it's so hard to get advice of, what can I do to go make games?
So it sounds like he just did.
Yeah, it literally just sounds like he's bass boosting on his channel. There's an older clip that's worse. This just mainly showing how he adjusts his own mic sounds like that, but an older clip's way worse. Somebody find me that. I need that clip. I don't care if you even link me the farms. Like if the farms has proof, like if the farms has something, I will take it. Link it. If one of the mods can find it, just link it. There's an old clip. Okay, Pirate Software interview at con. I don't know, like what con? Mock interview. Nope. Hardbound teaser. Oh, is this the one? 2017? Oh, Killjoy's got me. All right. Okay.
And the winner goes to...
The man with the voice changer, Pirate Software.
Okay. Is this the Streamer Awards? This looks like the Streamer Awards. This is the Streamer Awards. I just noticed the channel. What the fuck?
God, yeah, no, this actually is really heavy. Holy shit. So, it's honestly amazing to me that we even have a category now. Like, the software and game development category is incredible. You guys should definitely check.
I don't know about that one, guys. I don't know. All right, let's listen to this one.
I'm gonna have to peel my hot dog.
Is that him just putting on a voice?
I have to peel it. Every good hot dog needs to be peeled. Every good hot dog needs to be peeled. You see, now that I've peeled the hot dog, it's ready to eat.
Look, a hot dog is
That's
about
right.
to be eaten by Thor.
It's ready to
Let's
eat.
demand he smears ketchup on his
Okay, he's not putting on a voice. There's no effort into that. That sounds like a real voice.
face.
That is the worst. That is the worst thing I've ever.
He says this is the second puberty, but Mike is shit. Okay. What's this, Killjoy? Okay.
Welcome to Denver Comic-Con.
Oh my
I'm
God.
HB for Video
Holy shit, he's fat.
Game News Source, and I'm here, guess where? With the games, of course. I'm here with...
This fat this fat fuck. Like, oh my God.
Thor, founder of Pirate Software. How's your show been so far?
It's actually been amazing. It's our first time out here at Denver Comic-Con, and there's so many people, and they love
You don't even hear like a bass dip in the microphone, right? Like if his voice was lower, it wouldn't be peaking while he's talking like that.
the games, so it's been awesome.
So speaking of games, what do you have for us today?
So we have Champions of Breakfast, which is a twin-stick shooter that we made in 24 days from concept to release on Steam.
Oh, this is rough.
Blew up. It was really, really awesome. And
Look at him lean back to try and like look less fat.
that game is...
That's what fat people do. When they're on camera, they kind of like do this. They kind of like try to puff out their chest a little bit and like lean back a little to not look as fat. If he stands up straight like a real fucking man, he's going to have a gut. That's a fat man right there.
pretty difficult. So if you're into really hard arcade games, that's...
Somebody needs to make like the parallel lines when, a man's talking to a woman to see if he's beta or not, because this dude is like bending backwards.
kind of thing for you. And the other one is Heartbound, which is a more story-driven RPG. And we've been working on that for about 6 months. We put it up on Steam Greenlight. It got rank 1, so it was massive success. And then we put it up on Kickstarter, and it got funded in 24 hours, and then ended up with 400% funding. So people really, really like the game. And we have an hour-long demo here and on our website, so people can download it anytime.
And what is your website?
It's gopiratsoftware.com, and you can get it there.
God, this guy is super weird. Nah, he was having a boner. Yeah, he was leaning back to try and hide his raging erection for this mid-woman. So they would say this, but he popped off because the YouTube Shorts glitch, which resulted in his channel getting views off of Shorts for because of a setting that glitched. Crazy, dude. Lady looks taller. Don't hate on tall women. Don't do it.
Or on Steam, so if you just
Don't you do it.
look up Heartbound on Steam, you can pick it up.
Great, thank
Short and tall women. Totally fine.
you so much. For Video Game News Source, I'm HB Duran.
But he is a midget. He is a midget compared to her.
Keep on playing.
Her smile is horrible. Jesus Christ, her smile is terrible. disgusting even. It's just terrible. That's coming from me, who can't even take a photo to save his life without looking like he has Down syndrome. Okay. I want to do one more video involving the stop killing game stuff, and I think that's where we're going to end stuff off, because Harmful made, in my opinion, a very good video on the next wave of issues we're going to have with stop killing games.
In my previous video, I covered a small
Okay, not that one. This one.
Congratulations.
So, right here in particular is where the next stage of the initiative is going. We've already beaten Pirate Software to death, okay? Just complete and utter beating it to death at this point. Pirate Software is just, like, completely retarded. Like, he's no longer, like, a conversation to be had at this point. Sure, he's funny to laugh at. I will gladly A-log him because it's funny. But now we're in the next stage of the situation. The next stage of the stop killing game stuff, because I'm more focused on that. That, to me, matters more than anything else, really. Now we've reached this, where the video game companies are starting to bring in lobbyists. These lobbyists are going to try and fight the Stop Killing Games initiative, and Harmful, I think, put a good video together about it.
SKG. Your petition smashed 1 million signatures and is well on its way to be safely padded just in case a bunch are invalidated. You wanted to know if this consumer rights angle could work in your mission to preserve games, and we're going to find out. But even just getting this far, to the point where the European Commission will take a little peep at it, has drawn out some more significant adversaries. Video Games Europe, a trade association representing the video games industry, has spoken out against the initiative. And who are they? You know, I took a look and they're doing some really good stuff. Apparently they've got a big focus on getting more girls into STEM, which, in turn is going to feed the games industry. And it is absolutely vital that they get a fresh supply of females with these.
ME4 starting to look bad, obviously. I'm going to kill myself when that game comes out because I know I'm going to buy it. I know when I buy Mass Effect 4, I am essentially going to be put on suicide watch for when the game eventually comes to fuck me over.
These skills, because historically, the women working at places like Video Games Europe member Activision Blizzard keep showing up.
See, that's where the whole, like, him being a paid corpo shill is coming in. This is why I'm starting to believe this. This is why I'm starting to believe that Pirate Software was paid off, because these fucking billion-dollar companies have some kind of hold on this shit, and all of their lobbying groups are working with a company that has a strict tie to Pirate Software. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on. I want to talk about games. This is the first time Leon wants to talk about something that is normal. Fine.
Europe member Activision Blizzard keep showing up dead under questionable circumstances or complaining.
Okay, make it quick.
Listen, man. Listen, you talk about people being paid shills. It's easy. All you got to do is be like this mega billionaire corporation. You just get a bunch of influencers to speak positively about what it is you're doing, what are all the games that these people play. You notice how a good majority of games suck, and then you got like content creators coming out, oh, wait, but I really enjoy this, and I think you're all just hating. It's the same thing. It's the same thing over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
He's a paid for.
Yeah, Pirate Software is paid for.
About sexual harassment. But of course that was only the...
This annoys me. Not annoys me. It's like an obvious next stage in the issue that we're going to have with Stop Killing Games is that lobbying groups are now going to try and fight back against this. They just want to fuck you over. That's how I look at it.
This is my thing. People like to think
it's not.
It's not. Like, maintaining games that are like years old, even with like a baseline update, it's not easy. It's not just a snap of the finger. Anyone who says it's a snap of the finger, they don't fucking code, and I don't respect their fucking...
But, like, let me ask you this. Like, when you're making a game, wouldn't you... This is the thing that I would assume the initiative is, like, really pushing for, and this is what it sounds like, is that there needs to be end-of-life cycles and conversations with games that are in development. So, like, pre-production is the conversation of, like, okay, how are we going to end this game, and how are we going to tell the consumers when game ends, and how do they continue to have access to said game? Like, I feel like that's not a crazy thing to request.
To have something be the indicator that it's the end of the game, it's more difficult for these live services.
I'm talking about games in general. It's not just live service.
I mean, when you think about The Sims, there's no end to The Sims. It's just horny women creating sex fantasy gaming, which it wouldn't be that difficult to like set that up, but it would have to coincide with the story of the game, because what would be a game that's a perfect example?
Helldivers.
I feel like the end of Helldivers would be, hey, we finally defeated the automatons, which everybody's ignoring right now, the bugs, which everybody's ignoring right now, and the Illuminate, which for some reason people are focused on right now.
That would
also, shout out to any Xbox players who are coming into Helldive in August. We need you.
But think about it like this. Like, even though that's the end of said online story, there still should be a way to access something to be able to still play the game. You know what I mean? Like even
but like for
Helldivers,
like what would that be? Like if you complete the story of Helldivers, you
like
find
local,
consumer,
like some
you
kind
find
of
against-
localization servers, or being able to allow them to make private servers, that should be allowed.
I'm gonna say yes. The thing is, you would have to figure out a way to make that accessible to a bunch of people.
Right, and I understand that.
Find a way. You would have to find a way to keep the game interesting in those private servers, because essentially, what you're asking for is like complete control of the fucking software at that point.
Right. So my whole thing is that I'm sitting here going, that should have been a conversation. What I want the initiative to initially do, and what I'm standing by, is that developers should be forced to consider end of life cycle options for games later on into the future, like new development games. Like obviously the games that they're already with what they're at, we can't really fix those. I'm talking about future shit. You know what I mean? Like we can't fix them all. It's impossible right now in particular.
I don't know, man.
I feel like pre-production talk should have that.
When we think about games what games exist right now that kind of fit that criteria? The only one I can think of, like off the rip, Grand Theft Auto Online. It's like the only one. But I even think like a few years after GTA 6 come out, they shut down them servers.
They're gonna shut down
you
5
can't even
servers.
get on,
Yeah.
Because didn't they shut down 4s?
Yeah, but the game was still playable.
It is true. I mean, fuck, they shut down GTA Online. You can still play GTA 5, like the story mode.
Mm-hmm.
Like you beat that story mode, you can still drive around, rob the bank, do shit.
Right. But the thing is that it still allows people to access said game. The issue being is that
hold on.
Okay.
GTA 4 had an online mode. Dickhead, I'm old. I remember.
I just wish that there was at least like a conversation, or not even a conversation. It's like a requirement for these companies to consider, if I'm going to make an online focused game, it's required for them to have an end of life cycle in some capacity, even if it's something minimal.
I don't think it needs to be required.
Like pre-production. So like
conversation.
So no. So like they have to sit there and go, okay, if we're gonna make an online only game, there needs to be a requirement that states that the end of life cycle must be a thing, at least a notification of when they're planning on shutting down the game. Like they say in the purchase items, like, hey, you're buying this license, we're planning on doing this game for about 5 years, right? Like that to me would make more sense. And then if you turn around and go, well, if we want to extend that, we're going to add another 5 years onto it. Does that make sense?
Or at least it did when Data Miners found it in the PS3 version.
But that's like a deep... I feel like that's going to delay games more.
It probably will, but we should be able to still be able to have that consumer choice on that. That's just me, though.
And then, in my head, a lot of these fucking games, they don't really hold that stomach of being like, all right, we're done updating this game. We're done holding this to where there's going to be like another groundbreaking update.
Yeah, but nobody cares about the updates. They just want to be able to access the game. Like, they just want to play the game at the end. Like, that's it. Like, that's the basic understanding. They don't. There's no conversations of, like, maintaining servers or updating or anything. It's like, hey, make sure you can allow us to still access the thing we purchased. Which I feel like...
Get rid of all the terrible business practices. I ain't gonna lie to you. You're not gonna get rid of next to any of these terrible business practices.
It's not gonna happen, but at least there needs to be an attempt. And this is why I don't have a problem with the initiative.
Oh, I don't either. But my whole issue is, well, not really issue, because I've told you this, and you agree. Gamers are the most cucked in the most...
We're beaten down. Bro. We are disheveled people. No one knows the true harsh of reality other than gamers, dude.
No. Here's the real thing. It's like we as gamers are cucked. You know why? You know how many motherfuckers cried about the price of the Nintendo Switch? That thing's got $3 million fucking dollars. Like, we're cucked.
Yeah.
We're a cucked group.
Yeah. At the end of the day,
like, I'm cool. I'm not about to be one of these pirate software motherfuckers. It's like, oh no, you all should fucking suffer. Like you'll fucking.
You can't own anything.
I want.
Yeah, you can't own your.
You won't own shit. Die.
It's just the worst fucking take imaginable. Like it's such an easy layup because everybody recognizes that if you pay for a product, you should be able to have access to said product forever, unless you buy something that says explicitly that this is a license and we're cutting off server access on this particular date. I feel like that's fair more than anything. I feel like that's fair.
Thousands of dollars on FIFA Ultimate Team. Hey, I'm currently playing Ultimate Team right now. Shut up.
Yeah, you're gonna get fucked. All that money is just fucked.
So you say
the ones who
Listen, man, I know the day that Destiny goes down, if there's no end of life or if I can't access the game after it's done, I'm fucked. I know that. There's so much money I've put into that fucking game. It's just all that money gone. Like, it's just gone. Snap of the fingers.
survived their employment. And damn, wouldn't you know it, Video Games Europe also represents Riot. They had their own problems a little while ago, didn't they? The little girls of today definitely need to be better prepared, groomed, if you will, in the non-predatory way, to survive in such environments. But speaking of grooming, I couldn't help but notice that another of their members is Roblox. It's easy to say, well, Activision Blizzard didn't admit anything in their settlements, and that was years ago. Riot stuff, that was settled in 2021. But Roblox's issues are a bit more recent, aren't they? And actually directly relevant to your statement on SKG. See, they argue that requiring games to run on private servers would endanger players, away from the—
Yeah, I don't know how the fuck Roblox could say that. Even without the private servers, Roblox has a major pedophile problem.
That excuse is horseshit for like any company to throw out, because your game is always going to have like a sick fuck in it, and a group of sick fucks who are going to try to like all latch upon each other.
Yeah, it's just like this is bullshit, and they don't really care. If they cared, they would try and do something about it. But anytime people say you need to do something about it, they're like, well, you have to get the government involved to make us do stuff.
No. This is the thing. Inzane's right. If they cared, they'd shut it down. But
they
won't shut it down because Roblox makes a fuck ton of money.
A lot of money.
The watchful eye of the devs and publishers and their tools and moderation teams, people wouldn't be safe. And that, this could be a brand reputation risk if something bad happens on a private server. For Video Games Europe member Roblox, that last ship's kinda sailed, hasn't it? But what really irks me reading this article is Roblox's response. See, today, the association they're represented by is telling the world, if you can't keep people safe adequately, you can't be running a server. But when their member Roblox got called out just a little while ago, Roblox explained, nothing we can do, dude. Government needs to get involved. I mean,
bruh. I love that lobby. I love that lobbying groups are just the most retarded group of people. Like, the thing that they're bitching about, hey, we don't want government intervention in this. It's very difficult. Roblox is like, bro, if you want us to stop these pedophiles, get the government involved. I don't know what to fucking tell you.
I mean, we'll do what we can, but it's impossible alone. We want to run private servers for a couple friends. Too dangerous. One of their members got kids getting diddled left and right. Hey man, if you really want it to stop, your taxes are going to have to go towards that. It would seem to me, at least, that Video Games Europe members' view on the acceptability of risking illegal conduct hinges entirely on whether they're making money from it or not. In fact, they have so little genuine care for humanity that the number one issue they could come up with occurring on private servers was cheating. Before you—
No way, that was not actually written within the lobbying letter.
Occurring on private servers was cheating.
In particular, cheating could become more rampant without proper enforcement. The game is done. It's over. There's no economy that anyone cares about. There's no updates. Who gives a shit if someone cheats in a private server? That's between all of them. That's between the people within the private server. That's not your problem anymore. Nobody's gonna wait. Do they think like esports orgs are gonna come out because of private servers and then cheating's gonna be a thing? Like, what the fuck?
I think the best example to like debunk any motherfucker, like what you said his name was, who's the guy?
The pirate software guy?
Yeah. Wouldn't the roleplay of Grand Theft Auto debunk like everything he fucking says?
Essentially.
Or am I insane?
Essentially, it does. People set up private server access all the time. There's localized servers of different aspects of different kinds of games that are still active to this day that are like decades old. Like, all this shit is already happening. It's just newer games are not doing them anymore because they recognize that they can get away with it, and people are recognizing, hey, you shouldn't be allowed to get away with this anymore.
Y'all just don't want to shine.
Before you start throwing—
Man, I just really don't want the billion-dollar companies to fuck me over. That's crazy.
Stones, maybe you should have a little chat with a representative of your member Roblox about how bad things really are. To be fair, if you look into Video Games Europe, you'll see they have a bunch of stuff about protecting children, but that's just so they can protect loot boxes. You know how industry-run ratings boards exist to stop the government from stepping in and heavy-handedly censoring everything? They did literally the same thing with loot boxes. Peggy added a little label and everything. Look man, as long as parents know their 3-year-old's having its brain destroyed, it's fine. I do agree with Video Game—
Dude, I think it's complete bullshit. That was like the compromise that the companies had to do with the UK. It was just like, hey, here's a little sticker that says that your kid might use your credit card when you're not paying attention and gamble all your money, little Timmy. It's like, bruh. Like, I swear to God, still to this day, I believe loot boxes should just be an illegal fucking thing. But I'm never gonna win that battle.
Europe, though, that it should not be considered gambling.
Like, gotcha games should not be a thing. I just don't. I'm not cool with that.
Gambling is far safer and more ethical. Because at least with gambling, they're not allowed to come to you later at any point and delete your winnings for any reason. And looking at their board instead of just members, my impression that this is a group of soulless vampires who would suck your blood if they could, but will have to make do, for now, with just the content of your wallet, is only strengthened. One Kerry Hopkins of Electronic Arts is there. Is that ringing?
Oh, God. The worst name to hear when there's a lobbying group.
Turning free to play is a
The
blessing and a
worst.
curse.
The worst. Dude, EA, that is the worst company on a lobbying group. Like, they are the most bloodthirsty fucking company on planet Earth.
So look,
I would be
you don't
terrified
play
to have a
these games.
representative from EA, dude. I would be
You don't play these
terrified.
games. When it comes to these sports games, all these motherfuckers are the most money. I'm making the argument: sports games, most money fucking hungry group of people known to man. Like all of them. Like what's the fuck game? 2K. This is like the first time I stopped playing 2K for like a full year because it just got to a fucking point where it's like if I don't give these people at least $100 off rip at launch, I can't play the game because it used to be a game where you could just like play it and not spend any money, and then you could go online and be somewhat decent. Now you have to fucking spend 50 to 100, maybe even touching 300 if you fuck up your build, because motherfuckers go instantly get the game and they go straight to buying VC and they just upgrade their play at that point, and then as they are able to level up more, they spend more money and use that to fucking level the fuck up. It's like that became so fucking predatory. But again, gamers are cucks and they got that FOMO and they're gonna spend that fucking money.
Any bells for you? No?
Well, first, we don't call them loot boxes. I think that was
Whatever term you wish to apply to them, do you consider them ethical?
So what we looked at as
And
surprise.
Wait. You need to listen to this. This is the woman that is currently on the board for the lobbying group. Leon, I need you to hear this.
Kerry Hopkins of Electronic Arts is there. Is that ringing any bells for you? No?
Well, first, we don't call them loot boxes. I think that was
Whatever term you wish to apply to them, do you consider them ethical?
So what we looked at as surprise mechanics.
She was a surprise mechanics lady during the Battlefield era stuff.
So you mean to tell me during the time where people are letting you all know about loot boxes and how predatory they are, you don't call them box, you call them surprise mechanics.
This is the individual that made that meme a thing. Remember Battlefield 2? Remember Battlefield 2? No, Battlefront. Yeah, it was Battlefront 2. Remember how bad that loot box situation was?
That one in Overwatch kind of got me to speak with how predatory a game could really be.
This woman is the one that coined the surprise mechanics meme. And now she is on the board of this lobbying group going against Stop Killing Games. That should scream to you that we're dealing with the devil now. Like,
How about now? I love the analogy Kerry used to the UK Parliament. She explained, these surprise mechanics are just like a kid buying a Kinder Egg, except for the part, you know, where Kinder isn't allowed to remotely wipe the toy they've won from existence. For a group so deathly afraid of reputational harm, I think they've made some very interesting organizational decisions. Plus, this legislation, if it ever becomes legislation, you might say it's an overreach, it's dangerous, it's unnecessary, could be—
I don't think it's any of those things. I think it's pretty reasonable to ask, hey, if I buy your product, I should be able to still play said product after I spent $70 on it.
Welcome back from the American Day weekend.
Oh, thank you, Do.
Hope you got drunk.
I did. This entire weekend of it.
Be any number of things. I call that surprise mechanics, and gamers enjoy that quite a lot. So, I knew this was coming. I wanted it to come. I was excited for it. They're the guys who talk to EU commissioners about games. Yes, Cinnamon Rogers is the name of this person. For real. No, they are not a pirate, as far as I'm aware. Anyway, everyone knew this was coming, but I didn't expect to be so ticked
Is it just Chris? No, Leon's in here.
off. And I'm not ticked off just because of what they're saying, but because of who's saying it. So, their dream is that this gets seen by the European Commission, and they decide to throw it away, with no intervention, legislative or otherwise. To this end, part of their statement lays out the point that consumer protection laws are currently adequate.
Consumer protection laws with video games is adequate. I'm sorry. When people try to make old games that no longer exist viable again, and Nintendo games in particular, Leon, just quick question. What is Nintendo best known for if you try to like revitalize their old games and play them on different systems? What are they best known for again?
Play them.
No. What are they known for? They're called the Nintendo Assassins for a reason.
Oh, allowing you to continue that and share it with your friends?
No, it's called a $1 million plus lawsuit.
Oh.
No. They sue you into the Stone Age. Exactly, Rage. I didn't realize that adequate coverage, adequate consumer rights is a thing with that.
Zone Zero for this reason.
Yikes!
Thankfully,
I
I
do.
deleted those games since
Interesting.
then. Smiling face with tear
Bust,
emoji.
even, as they put it. Regarding fair terms, they let everyone know, like, look man, the Unfair Terms Directive prohibits games companies from imposing terms on consumers that significantly imbalance the parties' rights and obligations to the detriment of consumers. And they
That's kind of bullshit because they'll close down servers and basically say you can't access this thing you purchased for $60 or $70 anymore. So I don't know where the fuck they're getting that from.
let us know that everything is fine, does not need to be looked at in any way, while representing Ubisoft, who apparently have been having us agree to immediately uninstall their products and destroy all copies of their product in our possession, should they stop.
I'm so sorry. What is this? The EULA is effective from the earlier of our date of the date you purchase, download, or use the product until terminated according to its terms. You and Ubisoft or its licenses may terminate its EULA at any time for any reason. Termination by Ubisoft will be effective upon a notice to you, or B, termination of your Ubisoft account, if any, or C, at the time of Ubisoft's decision to discontinue offering and or supporting product. The EULA will terminate automatically if you fail to comply with any of the terms or conditions of this EULA. Upon termination for any reason, you must immediately uninstall the product and destroy all copies. Yeah, I'm sorry. I have to destroy my copy of Assassin's Creed Black Flag because Ubisoft doesn't want to keep the license anymore. I'm sorry. So
Nintendo come out with something, I think like 2 months before the Switch 2 drop, where they essentially say we could brick your fucking console.
yes, they said if you do anything to the console, we can brick you.
I'm dead.
Bro, and this lobbying group is saying consumer rights is at an all-time high. Think about that.
Stop supporting it. I don't know, as a layman, that seems pretty damn whack to me. Sounds like a pretty unfair obligation to me. And sounds
It's not even an unfair obligation. It's just taking your paid product because they don't want you to have it.
like the remote killing of a game, to me. You know, if you slowly heat up a frog, they tested this, it just jumps out once it's uncomfortable. But everyone knows that analogy. You bastards will erode and push and take anything you can get away with in ways that consumers can't in return, and then have the balls to imply, look, the law says we can't be unfair, so we weren't being unfair. Were we? I know what you are. You told us what you are last year, or rather Philippe Tremblay did, when he explained there's a fight to change consumer understanding.
I'm sorry, what? One of the things we saw is that gamers are used to, a little bit like DVD, having and owning their games. That's the consumer shift that needs to happen. They got comfortable not owning their CD, DVD collection, or DVD collection. That's a transformation that's a bit slower to happen in games. As gamers grow comfortable in that aspect, you don't lose your progress. If you resume your game at another time, your progress file is still there. That is not deleted. You don't lose what you built in the game, or you engage with the game. So it's about feeling comfortable with not owning your game. Ubisoft said that. Huh. Don't I just love these billion-dollar companies that want to fuck you out of owning a product? Like, these are the people I need to feel sympathetic to.
Gamers even feeling a sense of ownership is a roadblock to corporate ambition. Before we even think about legislation, I don't even care if I'm wrong about the law or my judgment of what's considered fair. I ain't a lawyer. Regardless, fuck you. Video Games Europe, you gotta remember, Ubisoft, who let the world know they are trying to psyop consumers. Anything that comes out of your organization should be read as if it's written by a literal demon. You don't like people suggesting that? What are you gonna do? Brick my microphone for inappropriate conduct? You would if you could. Just like how Nintendo, another member of Video Games Europe, wants to be free to brick people's hardware. Dog shit is dog shit is dog shit. You can explain how we got here. You can explain why it might be hard to change. You can explain how current law supports it. You can't pretend it tastes good. And speaking of things that taste like shit, check out the end of their little message. Video game companies are committed to the preservation of games and their cultural value. You see?
Ooh, I feel like I'm not going to like this example. For example, members regularly donate game copies and hardware to preservation organizations to support support museums featuring games. I'm so sorry. Can I play that at the museum? If I own it already, why am I not allowed to play it? How come I can only see it at the museum? I paid $60 for a copy of that. $70 now, $80, $100. You're telling me I can't play it if the servers go down? You're telling me I can't play it because they don't want to continue the IP? And I have to go see it at a museum?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's not good enough.
Members regularly donate game copies and hardware to preservation organizations and support museum exhibitions featuring games. Their examples are temporary exhibitions of Battlefield 1 and SimCity 2000. Alright, here you go. Here it is. Proof that EA cares deeply. They also point out in their statement that Embracer has a games archive, which is, of course, just for physical games.
So all the online games, all the Steam games that were made that are like mega popular and that they're like, you know, recognized forever as very popular PC only games don't get put in a museum. It's just physical. And the crazy thing is that, now Leon, correct me if I'm wrong here, most video game companies don't want to do physical media anymore, right? That they kind of like moved away from physical copies, DVD, like CD copies. They've moved away from all of that. It's all like downloadable now. Most games, hold on, most consoles, they sell a digital version.
No, all consoles.
The only one I know that's still consistently doing it is Nintendo, and they're gonna be excited when they don't have to do that anymore.
Oh yeah, I mean, what the fuck? Oh, you talking about ones that don't have one?
I'm just talking about physical media in general. How often do you see game companies like going, yeah, buy the physical media?
More.
So let me translate.
Physical media is a dying breed.
This little bit at the end to what it actually means.
So buy
Video
it
game
on
companies
now,
are committed to
boys!
the total destruction of game preservation, past the date at which everything is successfully transferred to service or subscription. See this bit? This is them pretending for the eyes of politicians.
Video Games Europe and their members companies are committed to actively supporting serious professional efforts to preserve video games and recognize the industry's creative contributions under circumstances that do not jeopardize game companies' rights under copyright law. Where the fuck is the copyright conversation coming from? A game that is 30 years old, you're not going to have a copyright issue with that. I don't know what the fuck this is an argument for.
They hope will not understand that they would let their games be preserved. It's just a matter of details. Has to be a serious professional effort and has to not be under circumstances that jeopardize game companies' rights. But of course that circumstance is that it is any game they make the
Yes, it is, Pinker.
way they want to make them now. They really, really want total control of modern games, right? The way they're behaving already gives me the impression that they have no intention of ever coming to some sort of self-regulatory compromise. But you get, at this point, right, that it's not to control the games. It's not to control their IP. That's just the most effective counter to resistance in this instance. The loss the industry could suffer as a result of mandated end-of-life plans is nothing compared to the loss in progress towards you accepting that you will own nothing and be happy that would accompany that. Consider, because I think this is very important, they are not terrified of losing what they have now. They're terrified of not being able to get what they want next. Apologies if you were blissfully unaware that mainstream...
That is fair. That's a fair fucking... That's a fair argument. It's like these people don't give a fuck about any of this copyright shit. They care that they can't convince you to pay $10 a month or constantly hit you with loot boxes. Like, this is just like a rape. Outer Worlds 2 isn't even going to have a physical copy. It's already starting. These companies are sweating, man. They're fucking sweating.
People said all this shit like
No,
years ago.
bro, I just got a hold on.
like-
Hold on. I need to interrupt you. I just got a notification from Mama Max's Patreon. He's gonna start streaming soon.
The fact that you have a notification, the fact that you are even around Mama Max's Patreon.
No, I never paid for it. I just hit. It's like, oh, notify me when he does posts, and yeah, I just got that. I'm not paying that fucker. What are you, crazy?
I feel like
We're
he
all
will,
F exclamation mark at hashtag
before
D.
doing it, will figure out how to just make sure that he can't be seen by like people like you. So he might just stream. I don't know. If he can
Unlisted
stream on
members
Patreon.
only. You could okay. So you would so how you do it, from what I understand, is you unlist the streams and then link them in
Talk about
Patreon for
Patreon.
people to click it. No, I know.
Oh,
You unlist them on YouTube. You link them on Patreon and say, "Hey, this is a Patreon only stream because it's unlisted." That's the only link in the Patreon. I believe that's how it works. Or I don't even know if Patreon has like its own streaming thing. I never dug deep into fucking Patreon.
I don't have anything to sell people. There's no real Patreon.
Yeah, me neither. Extra conspiracy mode here. The DEI crowd will also be fine with letting all the older games kind of die out and disappear. It makes it harder for people to compare it to their dog shit over time. That is a
that's
schizo
drastic
theory.
reach.
Yeah, that's a
that's a
schizo theory. That is a drastic reach. That is drastic. That is drastic.
Oh, are we done?
Yeah,
Can we talk about Hassan?
Hey guys, thank you for watching the clip. Thank you, Core, for doing the editing. Make sure you give him a follow on Twitter. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you are new. Check out the link in the description for the LOLcow trading card game. There's a brand new pack called Series X. That pack has my card in it, the tipster cards as well. On top of that, there's a bunch of other cast of characters in there. And we're also working towards an ultimate goal for that. So make sure you guys click on the link below. We're going to try and upload daily here and do live streams pretty often. So make sure you stick around and hit that like button. Thanks, guys.